Welcome to the Free Game Don D podcast, life, family, and business. Guys, listen, the topic for today is leadership is action, not position. Yes. I think that's a pretty heavy thing, man. Someone that I respect over in an all men group had a little situation, and it prompted him to kind of talk about it. And I said, man, I love that topic so much that I want us to talk about it because we're big on leadership. We're big on the actions that leaders take, because we live in a society now of where a lot of people want to be seen, right? They want to be viewed as a leader. They want to be viewed as someone making things happen. They don't want to actually make things happen. They just want to be viewed as such, right? And I remember some years ago, I had someone come to me, and they wanted to be in a position of leadership under our agency, and they had already shown that they were not capable of being disciplined within their own business, much less bringing other folks on. Because whoever you bring on, they're going to duplicate what you're doing, right? And so you have to be someone worthy of duplication, right? You have to be able to exude certain qualities to whereas someone can duplicate you and have success, right? So, and I felt bad about what I said to the person, but I told the person who told me that they deserve to be in, which I always thought that was weird. Like people that think that they deserve to be in leadership, or they'll say, well, I'm this and I'm that. And I always thought that was weird, because who decided that you were this and that? I always thought that was kind of weird. Like when you talk about leadership, someone has to be willing to follow you. So you don't just get to say, hey, I'm a leader. Well, who's following you? So I was confused, but I had to tell this person, I said, listen, I wish you were who you think you are. And I hated to say that. I mean, but it was a meeting that we had, and, Michael was in that meeting. My staff member, operations manager, I said, hey, I had to protect myself, you know what I'm saying? But I was like, listen, I wish you were who you think you are. And I didn't, I felt bad, but it's just something that I had to say because of the way the person was carrying on. I mean, they were so enamored with leadership from the standpoint of maybe like, oh, well, I see what you and your wife are doing. I want to duplicate that. And I understand that. But let me show you how you can duplicate that. You're going to have to change a lot of things that you're currently doing, first of all. But this notion that, you deserve to be in this position just because you want it. Listen, man, I just don't believe you can, self-affirmation yourself to leadership if no one's following you. So, one of my favorite quotes by John Maxwell is, he who thinks he leads but has no followers is merely taking a walk. And, I've always kind of lived by that quote, and Michael as well. I mean, so we believe that, someone identified us as leaders. And that's the thing about us. Like, we pick leaders based on how we were picked. Someone said, hey, man, you're exuding certain things. The way you conduct yourself personally, if we can duplicate that in other people, we can have a lot of success. Oh, yeah. Right. But someone basically, identified what I was doing as being something worthy of duplication. So if someone is watching you and they don't think you're worthy of duplication of your habits being duplicated, they're not going to say that, you're not going to come to you about leadership. Now, you can disappoint yourself as a leader. You see how far that gets you. It won't get you very far. But, if no one's following you, you're just merely taking a walk. But everybody wants this leadership title. And, when I was leaving a message for, a buddy of mine in our mail group, because he was having some issues with people wanting to be identified as leaders. They hadn't proven anything. But it's like, hey, because when you make somebody else a leader in your organization, you're vouching for that person. Yeah. You're vouching for that person, right? So your credibility is basically now tied to this individual, right? Because Because if you got credibility, and then I say, hey, listen, this person I'm identifying as a leader. Now, the credibility that I have is tied to, this person. And if they end up not being who I said they were, or whatever, I mean, now that comes back on me. That's a failure on my part, right? Yeah. But I just think this leadership thing is so crucial, man. I just don't think that anybody gets to decide that they're a leader. You just don't get to, you just don't get to say that. People and leadership is hard. It's hard, right, Michael?
It is. Leadership is very hard. Honestly, because people think that they can talk their way into a leadership position or a position of importance, that they can just talk their way into it. But we all know that saying of you got to talk that talk and walk that walk. But honestly, walk that walk is the more important part, because if you're walking that walk, it's talking for you. Ooh, you don't even have to say
it
anything.
Again, baby. Say it again.
If you are walking that walk, that walk is talking for you. Ooh. You don't have to put any words out there, because people are seeing, people are viewing, they are seeing your actions. They are looking at you as an inspiration because they see what you're doing on the daily. They see how you're dealing in certain instances. And here's the thing that I think is even more amazing and is basically makes people look at you as even more of a leader, when you can be transparent, because we all don't make the right decisions all the time. Sometimes that decision that was made was good for that time, right? But then as time evolves or things change, or even things may come and change up, you have to be able to take ownership. You have to be able to be transparent and say, hey, I know I said this, but you know what? After further research and investigation, or because XYZ happened, listen, I misspoke.
Michael,
I got ahead of myself.
Why do you think leaders need to be transparent?
Because they need to be, people need to be able to feel like they can relate and trust you. Nobody is always right, And I think those that want to talk that talk always want to appear as if they are correct. They always want to appear as if they're doing everything right. And the sad part about it is normally those that want to appear that way, people that truly know them, know that they just talking. You don't even believe what you're saying. You're saying all this positive stuff for you. It's not for me to build up and feel invigorated and feel like, oh, I can do this. You preaching to yourself. You ain't even preaching to the choir. You're preaching to yourself. How's that going to help me? If you broken and I'm broken and you want me to follow a broken person, what if you broken to me?
But
broke meaning needing repair, not money-wise.
But Michael, some leaders will say that, well, I don't tell the team about, what I was wrong about, because, I got to try to, keep up a certain type of front. No. And I don't think they quite realize, like, first of all, you're dealing with a faulty premise of they don't already know.
Exactly.
So
a lot of times they already know.
Sometimes they already know.
They just waiting for you to tell it. And that right there builds more trust. Yes,
right?
It does.
I mean, anytime we get something wrong, we bring it to the team. I mean, and we're a part of, and we're partnering with other groups. But even if they get something wrong, because we brought it to our team, that's still on us.
Exactly.
Right. We have to
take ownership.
That. We have to own that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I think that builds up trust. And so I think as a leader, when something was a mistake, I think that level of transparency, sharing it with your team, it just builds more trust, right? Because they realize, okay, well, listen, when they're going the wrong course, they're not going to keep leading us to
falling off the cliff.
Falling off the cliff, you know what I'm saying?
They're going to say retreat.
They're going to say, hold up, you know what? I was going the wrong way, man. Let's turn this thing around. Yes. The information that I had led me to this direction, but now that information changes. When information changes, leaders change, right? And so I think that's big, man, just being transparent. And just being that kind of leader that can be, and some people can't do it. I mean, they have to be, like you talked about, hey, people want to look a certain type of way. And I know folks like that. They think they're leaders.
Listen, we all know people like that. We ain't got to call no names out, but every last one of us out here, we know somebody, at least one person like that, you know. And I mean, they're doing a disservice to themselves because they may actually have the potential to be a leader. But if you're going about it the wrong way, if you're trying to force it down people's throats, they won't even recognize that in you. It's almost like they'll throw blinders up. So now you've missed your opportunity with someone that actually possibly, you know, could have been inspired by you. But because you were hiding behind, you know, the curtain, you know, not being truly who you are, you're speaking, but not letting people truly see the actions in your words. Now you've lost somebody that may have believed in you.
Yeah, because I think that, you know, I know we talked about this briefly at the beginning of the podcast, but like, I think leadership starts with just leading yourself. I mean, you know, if you can lead yourself, man, I'm telling you, man, a lot of things are going to fall in place. Yeah, you know, but people I want to lead everybody else, but I'm not worried about leading myself. You know, I don't even understand how someone could fathom that would even make sense. But you know, it's just a weird thing when it comes to leadership, man, because I always believe the best leaders are the ones not looking for the attention. The ones that just, they literally, they didn't even ask to be in leadership. Like, you have to get these people to lead. Like, we have people that we talk to and they'd be like, I don't want to do that. I actually respect that because they realize if they do it, they're going to do it well. And I think that was even with me and you when we first really started to embark on agency ownership and all this. It was a little shaky in the beginning. It was like, man, because if we do this, we're going to do it. Yeah. Right. We're going to be great at it. You know, I was on a podcast with another agency owner about 6 months ago. Matter of fact, it wasn't even that long ago. Maybe it was about 4 months ago. But he was asking me about personal production. He said, well, Don, you know, you and your wife, how much production are y'all doing? And I was reluctant to answer the question, but I gave him some sort of answer.
You gave him a modest.
Yeah, I gave him a very modest answer because he didn't quite understand that there's levels to this. Yeah. Like, our success is built off of the people that we lead. Mm-hmm. So whatever I'm writing on my personal pen is irrelevant. That doesn't even matter. You know, we're running circles around a lot of these groups when it comes to agency production. Yeah. And that's the only thing that really matters. Like, what am I doing as a leader? My achievements are not based on, our achievements are not based on what we do individually. Mm-hmm. You know, so when I see leaders talking about what they're doing as individuals, that's already letting me know that we're on two different levels, right? Two different levels. That's no disrespect to anybody. I'm just saying, you know, when you start to realize that your achievements are irrelevant, you are a leader. Yeah. What you're doing personally doesn't even matter. Your team don't even give a damn about how much production you're doing personally. Actually, they're looking at you like, man, I should be getting some of that. You know what I'm saying? That's probably what they're doing. You know what I'm saying?
But listen, though, and that is also true. So definitely not taken from that. But you were successful first. People saw, you know, people see what you're doing. They see the roads that you're traveling and things like that to see you get to where you are, right? So they're attracted to you. You're not saying, hey, I'm a leader, watch what I'm doing. You're just doing your own thing. And then because they see the success that you're having, that's then when people are attracted to you to then say, hey, how are you doing that? Can you help me? Can you show me? And next thing you know, you take it upon yourself to mentor them, get them on track. They start seeing success. And then what do? Hey, you need to come over here. This person is awesome. They're very successful. I took the time and was brave enough to ask them, hey, how do you do what you do? Can you teach me? They were willing to teach me, didn't put a price point on it or anything. They were happy that I was interested and that I wanted growth. So therefore, they shared with me how to grow. You need to, if you need some help, come over this way. Yeah. This is the person. This is the team or whatever. And that's then when the success shifts. It's no longer about you. It's about how successful can I make my team? How successful can I make others? How can I change their lives? How can I teach them how to change their lives?
Because let me say this, Michael, because I believe there's a process to this thing. When you're an individual producer, we'll just talk about our business, insurance business, right? When you're an individual producer, you're putting up big numbers, you're writing a lot of business. Once you decide to be an agency owner and build a team around you, you putting up big numbers, it's going to be hard for you to do that if you're a real leader.
Yeah.
If you're a real leader. If you're a real leader that's pouring into your people, it's going to be really hard for you to put up these massive numbers personally. So I believe that, in the beginning, of course, when you're building or it's just you, then you still got to do what you got to do. But then you get to the point that where you get people around you that are counting on you for support. And I just believe that you have to understand that their success is way more important than yours. You're going to be judged as an agency owner or a businessman by the success of the people that are on your team.
Yes.
The people that you employ, their success, the people that you contract with, like their success. And I just think that sometimes some people miss that. So they get caught up in things that don't really matter, So, and I think that's, we don't really talk a lot about production, but I haven't been on anybody's podcast or around anybody that remotely does the kind of agency production that we do.
That's right.
Not even close.
Yeah.
But that's because we understand that their success is what's important, and we sacrifice our own personal production to make sure that our team eats, man. And I don't know, man. This leadership thing is a weird thing. I know I was at Medicare Con, and a young lady that I know of from social media and some other spaces. She was talking to some folks and I happened to be walking by. And so she pulled me over to introduce me to people, and she introduced me as a top broker. And it bothered me for a quick second, but I didn't even entertain it because I understood. I know in this business, there's a lot of egos, and in my mind, I'm like, I'm not a top broker. I'm a top agency owner.
That's right.
Especially in the Medicare Advantage space. So, but I let that happen. though. I let her have that. I didn't even entertain it because I know who I am, right? And if you hang around long enough, you're gonna learn too, because your people are gonna be over here with me producing, because that's what we do. We turn brokers into 6-figure producers. That's what we do. That's our track record. That's who we are. So, but I let people minimize me sometimes because that's what they need to do to make themselves feel bigger. And so, hey, man, no worries.
Yeah.
No worries at all, man, because I'm a leader. We're not the same.
No.
And that's no disrespect to her. I mean, or him, or well, I can't say who the person was, but I understand that this leadership thing requires, put that ego aside, to really walk in a spirit of humility and understand that it's so much bigger than you.
It
right?
is.
It's so much bigger than you.
It is. It really is. And I think that's one of the key things in being a leader, knowing that it's so much bigger than you, that it doesn't begin and end with you. Once you become a leader, it's all about the people that are following you and making sure that they stay on track, making sure they stay in the know, making sure you continue to pour into them to get them where they need to be. That's what's most important. Not your pocket, not lining your pocket, but lining theirs. Because if they do good, you do good.
Come on, man. Come on. And I'm going to say this too, man, and showing a level of appreciation for your people, man. So, we love all of our brokers, man.
Yeah,
all of our broker partners, man. They're phenomenal people, and we love them. And we give them all the respect and all the credit, they're just phenomenal. And even our mentor, one thing about us, man, we understand that no one wins alone. So when we're speaking, we're not up here taking credit for everything. Hey, look at us, we're this, we're that. Because a lot of people get caught up like that. In leadership, you start attaining certain levels of success, you forget.
Yeah, you do.
That you did not get here by yourself. And as a leader, it's a book by John Maxwell called The Self-Aware Leader. Phenomenal book. And I see some leaders, they forget that. They get to thinking that they did it by themselves. And they get this, and the words matter. When you start saying I a lot and me a lot, and nobody may not be saying anything, but they're paying attention and they're realizing that you're taking credit for everything.
Yeah.
And things start to crumble around you, right? And so we've just been very careful to make sure we are self-aware of the fact that, we win because of a phenomenal team, group of people that they're duplicating what we've done. And we've had a lot of success because of that, man. But leadership is it's a thing that everybody thinks that they want to be a part of until they're in it. And they're like, oh my God, I'm working harder as a leader. They think, oh, if I become a leader, I won't have to work as hard. No leader has ever said that. No real leader will ever say that. You're going to work even harder now, right? Because now you're everything to not just yourself and your personal business, but you're everything to everybody else's business.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Everybody else's business.
You're making tough decisions every day. That's why when a broker that we wanted to go into leadership that we love so much, she didn't want to do it. And she told me why. She was like, Michael do too much. I was like, oh my God.
And we do.
And I thought, maybe we should do less, Michael, so we can get her to be, I was like, man, but I respected that, man, because this person understood that if I do this, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
And I love people like that. Because some folks don't, they just want to be out. Hey, look at me. I'm important. Those people make me sick. I hate people that want to be seen. I just hate it. You know what I'm saying? And I've never been a, hey, look at me type guy. I'm my father's son. I put in work. I'm not going to be talking a lot. I'm just not that guy. I'm never going to be the, hey, look at me, loudest talking guy. I'm just going to be the guy that if we go in the bank, they know me and they don't know you. Okay? I'm just going to be the guy that can write checks you can't write. But I'm never going to be the guy running my mouth. I'm never going to be the guy talking the loudest. Never going to be the guy doing things to show off anything, right? I'm just going to be the guy to get stuff done. And you're going to be the guy that's going to be talking about getting stuff done that you're probably doing yourself because no one believes in you because you're not the leader that you think you are. I'm just saying.
I need a shots fired.
No, you don't need any shots fired, man. I'm just saying, man. This leadership thing is just such a loaded thing, man. And someone has to identify you as such, right? And it's going to be the people that are following you. People that, our brokers identify us. I'm not going to tell you who I am. Let them tell you. They'll tell you, Donald Michael or XYZ. It's not for me to say.
Yeah.
They own all of that, and they'll say whatever they say. I don't get to say who I am. They get to say who we are. And they let us know all the time. And we're grateful. We're grateful for that. But we do put in work though. I mean, it's not like it was given to us. We earn this. We get up every day to earn their respect, to earn credibility with our brokers every day. And they always bringing other people in like, hey, you need to come partner with these folks. Just based off of how they perceive us. How you perceive yourself ain't worth a damn. How other people perceive you is going to determine, your success in business, right? So, and that's just kind of how we understand that, and we continue to do what feels good to us, what's right to us. This is who we naturally are. So I guess it works out great. We're naturally these type of people, right? So, I'm not trying to have to, remember things, and my memory is not the best. So I can only be Donald Doe, and Michael can only be Michael. I've tried to change her a couple times, but she wasn't. She's like, no, I'm gonna be Michael.
Dude, I'm me. I'm me. So who you?
Is that Lil Wayne?
Yes.
Oh God.
I'm
I don't care.
Millionaire.
Okay, all right. Okay, Michael, give me some. All right. So listen, man, that's just one thing that me and my wife are passionate about, man, because we identify people that we believe will make phenomenal leaders just because of the way they conduct themselves. And we just believe that leadership is something that you don't identify yourself as. Someone else has to come to you and say, hey, man, you've moved me. Hey, man, what you said, it spoke to me. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, listen, hey, young lady, you got something, and if no one's coming to you with any of that, you just may be of the illusion that you're a leader. But continue to do the work, though. Continue to put in work, but in a genuine way, because leadership is not something that you can just, you either have it or you don't.
Yeah.
You either have it or you don't. And some folks don't have it, and that's okay. But if you think you're a leader, continue to put in that work, and someone will identify you as such at some point.
Yeah. And when they do, what a wonderful feeling that is. It's scary, but it's a wonderful feeling. It's the biggest compliment. They say duplication is the biggest, one of the biggest examples as a compliment. So, yeah. I love it.
Yeah. Go ahead and close us out, girl.
You're a good leader, man.
I appreciate it, man. Hey, listen, man, I learned from the best, man. I don't know where I'd be without you, man.
Thank you. Well, no, this concludes this episode of Free Game Don D. Life, family, and business. Isn't that how he says it? Listen, remember to like, subscribe, okay? We're getting out there where people are being exposed to us and what we're having to say, and people are hitting us up on our socials, as well as our messengers, DMs, and stuff like that. So we're loving the feedback that we're getting. If you guys have any ideas about stuff that you want talked about, please definitely put it in the comments. Let's talk about it. Yeah. Nothing is off topic. Donald got plenty of free game to give, and I do too.
Yeah, hit that subscribe button. And people like, man, I like y'all content. Did you subscribe?
That's all he says.
Subscribe, big dog, please, man.
I saw your podcast, but did you subscribe? He will not talk to you unless he knows whether you subscribe.
No, I'm still gonna talk to you, but I just want you to subscribe.
Yeah, I guess kind of. All right, y'all. See y'all next time.